Welcome everyone. My name is Mariana Svarnik and I'm your instructor today on Sahaja Online. It's very nice to see you all here. And today is our session number 6 of the Sahaja Techniques series. We talked about the left channel last week and about the techniques to balance the left channel. This week we will talk a little bit about the right channel. So we'll start with a short guided meditation just to settle in, and if a few people are still late trickling in, we can allow them to also join the session and not to miss anything. And then we'll talk a little bit about the right channel, and then specifically about some of the basic techniques for balancing right channel, just like we did last week with the left channel. And then we will have Q&A. So you are welcome to write your questions at any point that they arise, and you can either use a Q&A that you can see on the main menu of the Zoom, or if it's easier for you, you can use the chat function. Either way works for me. So please feel free to write your questions at any point. And then we'll answer them if there are any questions during this Q&A, and then we will have a second meditation, hopefully longer, so we can actually all settle properly into the state of thoughtless awareness. So with this in mind, let us continue. So sit comfortably, and we will do, all of us, we will do together raising of the energy. So if you are not sure yet how to do it, you can just follow the video together with everybody else. Most of you already know how to do this, but some of you might not know yet.
Sit comfortably on a chair and relax. You may close your eyes if it helps you to relax and focus. Now, focus your attention on the top of your head. The goal is to raise your inner energy to the crown of your head and tie it up. As the energy rises up your spine, it will gradually shift your consciousness into the state of thoughtless awareness. To raise your inner energy, first place your left hand in front of your lower abdomen with your palm facing your body. Then slowly raise your left hand to the top of your head, and as your left hand is ascending, rotate your right hand around it in a clockwise direction, swirling around and around until both hands are above your head. Now, imagine that you are tying a knot with a short rope, and using both hands, perform the gesture of tying a knot above your head, as if you are actually tying up your inner energy. Now, lower both hands, and starting with your left palm facing your lower abdomen, repeat this process of raising the energy and tying the knot 3 times. The second time, tying 2 knots at the top of your head. The third time, tying 3 knots at the top of your head. This technique will help focus your attention and raise your inner energy to the crown chakra or energy center. The goal is to raise the energy, achieve a connection to the universal cosmic energy through your crown energy center, and establish the state of meditation. Now, you want to form a shield of protection to protect your subtle energy system and to preserve your ability to remain in the state of thoughtless awareness. First, place your left hand on your lap, palm upwards. Next, place your right hand beside your left hip. Slowly raise your right hand over your head and sweep it down the right side of your upper body. Then sweep your right hand back up the right side of your body, over your head, and down the left side of your body. Repeat sweeping your right hand up over your head and down 7 times to form a shield.
All right, now we can place both of our hands open on our lap, and we can close our eyes. Now, let us watch our attention for a little while. And let us notice what is the state of our attention. Can we keep our attention inside? Or does our attention keep being distracted, pulled out to the outward things? Are we able to keep our attention in the present moment? Or do the thoughts keep coming in? And if the thoughts come in, are these thoughts related to the past or to the future? Now let's put our attention on our hands, our fingertips, the center of our palm. And let's see whether we can feel the flow of energy in our hands as cool breeze, or maybe we might feel heat or tingling in our hands. Some of you might not feel anything yet, but it's a good thing to try. Just check whether you feel. All right, now we will keep our left hand open on our lap, and with the right hand, we will invite our energy along our spine from the bottom of our spine to the top of our spine. And on the top of our head, we just let it stay there. So we scoop our energy and bring it to the top of our head gently. See whether you can do it. Just gently bring your energy and your attention all the way to the top of your head. And notice if you feel the flow of energy increasing when you do this. All right, now we'll place our right hand on top of our head. Now here we will rotate our scalp in a clockwise direction, massaging the top of our head. And here we will say, I want to experience my self-realization. I want to experience thoughtless awareness, which is the true state of meditation. Inner energy, please connect me to the all-pervading energy. Please bring my attention to the topmost energy center, and please settle my attention here. All right, now we can slowly place our hand back on our lap. See whether we can keep our attention on top of our head, but without forcing it. And let's stay for a few minutes in silence and see whether you can go deeper into silence. If you have any thoughts coming in, you can just send them away saying, not this, not right now. All right, now we will keep our left hand open on our lap and we'll place our right hand towards the ground. If you're sitting on a chair, you place your right hand hanging down from the chair on your right side. If you're sitting on the ground, you can place your hand on the ground next to you. And we can ask here, inner energy, please balance my left channel. Please purify my left channel. Please remove any obstructions from my left channel. All right, we can place our right hand back on our lap. Now we will bend our left arm in the elbow so that our fingers are pointing upwards. So our right hand is on our lap, our left hand is pointing towards the sky, towards the ceiling. The palm of the left hand is facing backwards. And here we'll ask, inner energy, please balance my right channel. Please remove all obstacles from my right channel. Please settle my attention in the present, in the central channel. All right, we can place our hand back on our lap. And we can slowly open our eyes. Welcome again to all of you, especially those who have joined us during this first meditation. No? So today's topic is the right channel. Now, the right channel is very important because it gives us the power to act, it powers our attention, and it powers our creativity. So without the right channel, we would not be able to do anything. The right channel is the channel we use, the energy of this channel we use when we need to do something. Whatever it is, as small or as big as it can be, it requires the right channel to be functional for us to be able to do anything. Now, the right channel in general is future-oriented. So, or not the right channel, but the attitude that comes with the right channel has to do with the future. It has to do with any kind of activity, physical activity, mental activity, but even more so than anything else, the activity that is future-oriented. So anything that has to do with planning things, with projecting, with creating plans, and really looking into the future or looking towards the future. Now, in its ideal state, the right channel is a balance between the two qualities. On one hand, it is a dynamism, so it is an ability to do whatever needs to be done, usually quickly or without too much of without too much of figuring it out and trying. So it is this ability to quickly and easily come up with creative solutions to the tasks that need to be done. But at the same time, it also comes with the sense of humility. So in the ideal world, or when our right channel is in ideally balanced state, what happens is that we can do whatever needs to be done, but at the same time, it doesn't pump up our ego. We don't become full of ourselves when we do it. We have that sense of just natural humility about the things that are done. This needed to be done, it was done, no big deal. So it is really quite an amazing quality if we have it, because it is when we are extremely effective, but at the same time, whatever it is that we do through our action, we do not hurt anyone, we do not aggress anyone. We do what needs to be done at the right time, with the right pace. If something is not happening, we do not force it. We find other ways of doing it, or we wait for the right time to do it. We have that sense that it is not up to us to really control how things happen. It is more about feeling the flow and being able to follow the flow. So to be able to do whatever needs to be done at the right time according to a flow of this all-pervading energy, according to what has to happen, what needs to happen. So being this kind of a person who doesn't assert themselves, but instead does the work that needs to be done. Now, the imbalances of the right channel. Well, first of all, this overly futuristic attitude, and this is something that our society is quite prone to always think about the future and to be so much focused on the future that we, first of all, neglect the past and do not process our past properly. So the past keeps hanging there, but we keep ignoring it. And also we spend no time in the present. And this is something that this current crisis that we are experiencing actually brought to light a lot. Even for me, even though I'm meditating regularly, and you would think, or you would expect, you would hope that I spend a lot of time in the present, because that is the point of meditative practice, to be able to actually live in the present as opposed to the past or the future. But what happened was that I noticed with all the plans being canceled, with all the sort of future travels being canceled, with so much uncertainty about what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, whether it's going to happen, I realized how much time still I waste on constantly putting my attention on the future, on thinking about it over and over and over, even though I probably do it less than most people do. So this tendency that we have, especially here in the West, but now with our current society being sort of global and globally future oriented, this is something that we want to keep in check and keep in balance. Now, the other sign of the right channel imbalance is when we are extremely attached to solving every problem mentally, to providing only mental solutions to every possible situation. Tricky thing is that as much as we treasure our mental abilities, we often are mistaken. And this is somebody who is out of balance on the right side, has a very difficult time to, first of all, even to sort of to see that you can be mistaken, and then to admit your mistakes when they happen, and to be relaxed about having made mistakes, to be able to live with having done mistakes. So a person who is extremely dependent on the right channel and neglects the left channel will be a person who's has a very hard time to see reality as it is, and instead only wants to see their version of reality, and that is often a mental projection, a mental picture of reality, mental understanding of how things are happening and how they can be fixed, which doesn't always work very well. Now, some of the not so pleasant signs of the right channel imbalances are aggression and anger. And those are when the right channel becomes really overused and exhausted. It expresses itself, it overheats, it is a hot channel by nature, and it expresses itself as aggression, anger, or even such things as annoyance, right? Even such slight thing as annoyance is already a sign of our right channel being overactive and overused. Now, another byproduct of this overuse of the right channel, of doing too many things, trying to fix everything, trying to think through every possible situation, is the attention that is very unstable, scattered attention. So the attention that has difficult time staying on one thing, the attention that always wants to jump from one thing to the other, to the third, to the fifth, and the attention itself that is very unstable because of that. So when we are so overwhelmed with our thoughts and all kinds of things that are happening, that we're not able to focus on what it is that needs to be done in the present moment, and just really going in depth with anything. It is a very superficial kind of attention. Now, something that in terms of personality that comes with the right channel being out of balance is the sense of pride and arrogance. Now, somebody asked whether I can give an example. If you could specify an example of what, that would be great. So something that is, how do we know when our right channel is out of balance? Now, it's easy to know when your left channel is out of balance, because when our left channel is out of balance, then we do not feel well. We feel depressed, we feel sad, we feel tired, we feel that we don't have energy. So that is very obvious, and so it is easy to notice. Now, on the contrary, when your right channel is out of balance, often what happens is that you have no idea that you are not well. You think that you're doing well, you think that you're managing, you think that you are working hard and doing what you have to do. But often the sign that your right channel is out of balance is if you trouble other people. So if other people are suffering from you, that is often the sign that your right channel is out of balance. So something as simple as noticing the feedback you get, even if that feedback is not very clear, is often a better indication of your right channel being out of balance than you yourself noticing it, unless it is really really off. So in Sahaj, when you're practicing Sahaj as meditation, the best way to realize or to see that your channel is out of balance is if you feel the flow of energy on your hands. You will feel either no flow of energy, we call this flow of energy vibrations, or a lot of heat and tingling on the right hand. That is the sign that I showed you the left hand. This is the right hand. This is the sign that your right channel is out of balance. So for example, if you feel an okay flow on the left hand and nothing on the right hand, then you know that right hand is out of balance. If your attention always goes to the future, so if you're trying to meditate, like for example, at the beginning of this session, when we sat down for meditation and our attention kept going to the future, that is a sign also that the right channel is out of balance. It requires some balancing or clearing. And then in general, if we are stressed out, stress is the byproduct of the right channel being overused and overexhausted. If we are unable to stop thinking, if we are angry or annoyed or boastful or self-righteous, all of these are the signs of our right channel being out of balance. Now, how can we correct that? We can correct that by basic balancing. So what we did already in this, our first meditation, we balanced the left channel by placing our right hand towards the ground, and then the right channel by keeping our right hand open on the lap and the left hand pointing upwards towards the sky. So this is the simplest way to balance the right channel, and most of you already know about it and probably do it quite regularly. Now, another thing that is very helpful for the right channel if it is out of balance is the foot soak with the water that is cooler. Sometimes if it's very hot, if you're living in a climate that's very hot or during a very hot season, you could even put a few ice cubes into your foot soak, or if you're going out, if you have an ocean, which I live very far from on both of the oceans, but if you live close to the ocean, you can do foot soak in the ocean. It is usually on the cooler side, and so these are very helpful. Now, if that is not enough, so if you feel a lot of heat and tingling on your right hand, especially if you feel heat and tingling in this middle finger and in the right thumb, that is the sign that your liver, which is one of the main organs of the right channel, that your liver is overheated and overworked. And so what you can do then, and it works quite well, is we can use an ice pack. I have an ice pack like this here, but you can use any ice pack. There is a whole variety of they come different sizes, different versions. And if you don't have an ice pack, you can simply take a Ziploc bag and put a few ice cubes into a Ziploc bag and close it. And then we place this ice pack on the right side of our abdomen. I'll show you on the map. So around this area here. So this is more or less where the liver is. So just below the rib cage. Now don't place the ice pack directly on your skin. Make sure that you have a layer, at least a thin layer between the ice pack and the skin, and don't do it for too long. I would say maybe don't do it more than 10 minutes at a time, unless you can sense already that you need more. So don't overdo it. Okay, there is a question. Right hand, the feeling something between the ring finger and the pinky finger. So any tingling on the right hand is the sign that the right channel is a bit out of balance. Now, if you feel this middle and the thumb, those are actually energy centers number 2 and number 3, and those are directly related to the liver. So then you would want to cool down the liver, especially if you feel a lot of tingling in those two, in the thumb and in the middle finger. But if you feel a lot of tingling anywhere on the right hand, you can experiment with a little bit of an ice pack, not for too long, on the right side of your abdomen, because cooling down the liver will cool down the whole right channel. Now, if you do not feel the flow of energy on your hands clearly, then don't do something like a foot soak, like an ice pack, because ice pack is a bit of an extreme balancing technique. It's a bit like a candle. If you don't see what you're feeling clearly on your hands as the flow of energy, you don't want to overdo it, because you might be, instead of bringing yourself to the center, you might be taking yourself more out of balance. Because sometimes we think that we are having an issue with the right channel, but in fact we're having an issue with the left channel. So if you put an ice pack when you're having an issue with the left channel, it will take you more to the left and more out of balance. So these are the things that you want to do if you are actually feeling quite clearly the flow of energy on your hands. All right, and now another thing that we can do is similar to what we talked about last week about the left channel. If your right channel is out of balance, that is, if you feel heat or tingling on your right hand, and then you feel okay, so like cool flow or medium sort of flow on your left hand, what you want to do, you want to raise the energy along the left and put it down on the right. So on this chart, what you would do with your right hand, you would raise your energy here and put it down here. So raise it on the left and put it down on the right. And then you do it for, say, 5 to 7 times and see whether your flow of the energy has become more even on your hands. So again, don't overdo it, because you don't want to make yourself more out of balance if you're already out of balance. But if you're feeling, you do it a few times, see what you feel. If it's improving, you feel you want to do a few more, you can do a few more, right? And so this is a sort of experimental way of doing this. Now, in order for you to feel the flow of energy clearly on your hands, you need to meditate daily, and most likely you need to do a foot soak every day. It is very difficult to feel the flow of energy clearly on your hands if you're not doing the foot soaking technique every day. All right, I think I talked a lot, but hopefully not more than manageable. So if you have any more questions, please do ask. And also, if your questions are not about the right channel, if it's about something we talked about previous weeks, or anything about what you're doing at home, what happens when any sort of difficulties you might be having, please feel free to ask them, and I will try to answer. The right channel is really wonderful when it's working well, because people who have a good balanced right channel, they never procrastinate. They don't try too hard to do things. They just actually do whatever needs to be done without wasting too much energy. So to correct the left channel, there is a question: is correcting left channel the same soaking in ice? No. So to correct the left channel, you would foot soak, but you would put lukewarm or even hot water, depending on how badly you feel your left channel is out of balance. Because the left channel is naturally a cool sort of a channel. So it has a tendency to sort of freeze. It has a tendency to become very cold, more cold than it needs to be. So for the left channel, we use the fire element. So we use candle. We put the candle in front of our left hand when we balance our left channel to warm it up, till it becomes cleared out with the use of light and fire in general, and also sunlight and things like that. Something that's very good to balance or to clear out the left channel is the first thing in the morning at sunrise, to meditate when the sun is rising, and those first rays of the sun really are extremely helpful for the left channel. Now, if you would like to learn a little bit more about the left channel, you can watch our recording of our last week's session. And so if you have RSVP'd for this particular session, or for any of the sessions in the Sahaja Technique series, you will get the email, and the email will contain a link to the YouTube playlist with all of our sessions in this series. So you're welcome to check it out. If you have not RSVP for the next Sahaj Techniques session next Monday. And then once the session is over, and then you will get this email tomorrow when I will send a little bit of a summary of today's session with the links. So I was asked to repeat the lifting of the energy. Okay, I'll do that to show you. So if we feel flow of energy not as strong on the right hand, so if you feel very little on the right hand and a lot on the left hand, or if on the left hand we feel nice and cool, on the right hand we feel hot and tingly, then what do? We raise the energy on the left, along the left channel, and take it down along the right channel. So basically the way I'm sitting, you will see me in a mirror, sort of mirror image, right? So I will raise my energy on the right and put it down. I raise my energy on the left and put it down on the right, like this. So it's similar to how we do this protective shield, slightly different, because in the protective shield, you want to go all the way sort of around. This is more just along the channels. So lift it on the left, put it down on the right, and that helps the right channel. But then you need to feel, once you start feeling them equally, you need to stop doing that, because otherwise you will exhaust the left channel, and the left channel will start feeling not so good. So hope this is helpful. Also, this session is recorded, so you can always go back to the recording and read what is on the slide and also see what we are doing. Okay, I've answered this, and answered this. Looks like I have answered everything. All right. So that's good. That gives us some time to still have a nice second meditation. Now, at any point, if you have more questions, please feel free to respond to any of the emails that you get from us, any reminder of the session. They all will go to our admin, and the admin will direct them to the instructor who is doing the session, especially if you indicate which session it was about. So please use our availability in that way, because often you will have a question in the middle of the week, or maybe in the middle of the weekend, and the timing didn't work for you to attend the session during that time, or maybe there was no Q&A during that session. So you don't have to wait for the session to ask the question. You can always ask directly, and we are always happy to help. All right. So now again, let's sit comfortably, place both our feet flat on the ground. Place both of our hands open on our lap. We can keep our right hand open, and the left hand when placed towards the sky again to balance our right channel a little bit more. This is the point where you would put an ice pack if you feel a lot of tingling on the right hand. Put an ice pack on the right side of the abdomen, just below the rib cage. And here we will ask, inner energy, please balance my right channel. Please remove all of the excessive heat from my right channel. Inner energy, please give me the ability to recognize the right way of doing things. to recognize the right time of doing things. Please give me that sensitivity so that my actions do not harm anyone, so that my actions are always benevolent. Please give me the ability to do whatever needs to be done without being attached to the future outcome of my action. Give me the ability to do what I have to do and to accept the outcome. If things are meant to work out the way I thought they would, then this is great. But if they do not work out, that is also fine. There must be some other plan. Please give me the ability to enjoy whatever comes my way, to learn from all situations. Please give me the ability to see my mistakes, to learn from my mistakes, and if possible, to correct my mistakes, and to move on, to not be stuck to the past mistakes that I made. All right, we can bring our left hand down, place it back on our lap. I will place our right hand across our forehead. And here is another very simple but extremely effective way of balancing the right channel. Here we'll say, inner energy, I forgive everyone. And I also forgive myself. Inner energy, I forgive everyone. And I also forgive myself. Please give me the ability to forgive. Please establish this ability within this energy center. It is amazing when our brain is able to forgive, then it becomes enlightened and opens the way for our spirit to become our guiding principle and not just our ego, our mental activities. Inner energy, I forgive everyone. And I also forgive myself. We will now place our right hand on top of our head. We can either keep our hand here, or we can rotate our scalp clockwise, massaging the top of our head. And here we'll ask, inner energy, please let me experience my self-realization as much as possible. All right, we can slowly place our hand back on our lap. Now let's see whether we can stay fully in present moment and touch that silence within. If any thoughts come in, we can just say, I forgive. We can say, not this. And let's see whether we can just enjoy this state. I'll play a little bit of music to just help us along. Again, slowly open our eyes. Now let's all together raise our energy like we did at the beginning. So the left hand is going up, the right hand is swirling around the left hand. We do it with full attention. On top of the head, we tie a knot. Okay, very good. The second time, the left hand is going up, the right hand is swirling around. On top of the head, we can tie 2 knots. Now the third time, we'll tie 3 knots. Try to do this with full attention on what you're doing. All right, very good. Now the left hand stays open on our lap. The right hand goes to the right side, to the left hip, and from the left hip over the head and to the right hip makes this arc. Shield of protection going there and back. About 7 times. You don't need to count. If you do a few more, it doesn't matter, it's fine. If you do this with full attention, you might be able to also feel your energy establishing. Now I lost count, so that's probably about 7. All right. Now there was another question was, what does it mean when the hands get moist or clammy while meditating? I'm not sure whether it has any significance when it comes to the energy flow. Might just be a bit of an issue with circulation or something like that. I don't really know. There are people whose feet or hands are cold and moist. A lot of the time, that's usually the sign of a bit of a poor circulation. So not sure whether there is any significance to what it means when it comes to energy flow. All right, so now we are at the end of our session. I will launch our second poll just to get a bit of a feedback to see how the session worked for you. Homework continues to be the same. At this point, it is really not about doing too many new things. It is really about maintaining your practice and keeping your energy flowing as much as possible. So we would ask you to meditate daily, ideally twice a day, if you can. Do foot soaking technique once a day with meditation. That will help you a lot. That will make a big difference in how you grow in this practice and in how your energy is able to become stronger, because the foot soak actually clears off a lot of our daily imbalances that we generally pick up during the day. Practice left and right channel balancing. The right was there, supposed to be there, but it's missing. So practice those when required, and it is really up to you to learn and to see your own state and to see how you are and to notice how you are, to examine yourself, to see which way you are out of balance, if you are out of balance. There is a request to share the music. What will happen is that once I post the video of this session, I will give a link to this album where you can buy it if you want. It is the one that has been produced actually especially for meditation, so it works quite well. And another small request that we have, if possible, stay clear of non-Sahaj meditation techniques or energy work or spiritual kinds of things, at least for the time that you are trying out this practice. Because if you mix in a lot of different techniques, what happens is that some of them will actually affect your system. Some of them will block your left channel, others will block your right channel. And so you will not be able to have full benefits of this practice and of giving your energy a good chance to do what is there to do. And this energy is there to nourish your system and to connect you to the all-pervading energy. And that is very difficult, close to impossible to achieve through other means if we are going to continue living in our everyday world instead of going somewhere into the desert or the mountains and closing ourselves from the work and only dedicating our full time to some sort of practice. So if we are going to do this so-called part-time, just a few times a day while living our normal life, going to work, having families, having friends, enjoying life to the fullest, then we really need to focus our attention, pick one practice, see whether it works for us. If it doesn't work for us, then leave it aside and we can try something else. But don't do 15 different things at the same time because it doesn't really work like that. All right, so next week, I think there was another question here maybe. Foot soak for 15 minutes, yes, you can do foot soak for 10 to 20 minutes. 15 minutes is perfect. Yeah. All right, so thank you very much. Please do reach out to us if you have any other questions. Use email or ask in the next session. Next week, we will have a session where I will show you how to balance individual energy centers, how to work on individual energy centers. There's a couple of ways. We have an instructional video showing one of the ways. There are also some other ways. So I'll show you a few of those. And that will be our last session of the series. So if you have any questions that come up through the week, please save them and ask them. And you can always ask us more questions later, but for now, this will be it because there isn't really, this series will be over. You will have all the techniques that you really need to keep your system balanced and to grow in this practice. All right, we will see you next week. It's very nice meditating with you today. Thank you.